What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Shaw and Steel Show. It was a hectic week of college football. So with that being said, we're going to dive in and recap these Week 8 college football games. Steel Chambers, how you doing, bud?
Go ahead, dude. You're pumping me up. Let's get into it. I'm excited. We got so many games to talk about here.
Oh, my God, so many. So, we're going to start with, our alumni. First game, we're going to get it right out of the way. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. USC, Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins 34-24. Steel, I'll let you start this one off.
No, go ahead. Start it off. I'd love to hear what you have to say about your beloved USC Trojans.
Okay. Well, you can't expect – we talk about on this show all the time what we learned from Coach Mick at Ohio State, and that's the plan to win on the road. You got to run the ball, you got to stop the run, and you got to play tough.
We talked about it last week. Did we run the ball well? No. Did we stop the run? Whatever the total opposite of stopping the run, that's what happened. And 3, did we play tough? I think on offense, our offensive line at times, I think our receivers at times, Maava at times. But overall, Christian Pierce, I do want to highlight Christian Pierce, number 24 safety. He's about the only one on that defense I thought played tough. But overall, no, we did not play tough. So you can't expect not to execute the plan to win and win a big rivalry game like that. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to dive into anything else. And now, if you bring stuff up, I'll address it. But that's all I'm going to You just spent that time beating around the bush. I'm going to tell it how it is. Your offense played really well. It got stopped at times, but overall, your offense did pretty good. Your defense was complete dog shit. You guys got run. You guys got run through like a middle school hallway. Jeremiah Love, he had a career day against you guys. You kept playing this too high safety look over and over again. I don't know why you didn't come out of that whenever he had already got his first 200 yards. But I mean, it was.
All right, I'm going to address that. I'm going to address that real quick. You do bring up a good point. Now, obviously, I can say what I want about Coach Lynn. I love Coach Lynn. I think he's a great defensive coordinator, and I know he's feeling this way, but this is just facts. I thought coming in, we talked about it, they had a great game plan against Michigan. They went in that base defense. They stopped the run. They made sure that they forced Underwood to throw the ball. I think coming in, Coach Lynn knew that Notre Dame had a little bit more of a passing attack to them. But with that being said, CJ Carr clearly got off to a rough start. And you're getting killed in the run game. So my biggest thing is, why not come out in that second half and kind of go back to the Michigan game plan, stuff that box, and force Carr to beat you, which we didn't do, and we paid the price for it.
Yeah, and then again, with this too high look, for people that don't really understand like what we're talking about, a too high look in football, that's not good for stopping the run. Whenever you do that, you got both your safeties. They're playing deep. And what that does, you've got probably an outside linebacker or a nickel. They've got to separate themselves out of the box, probably apex like a receiver, show a little bit of body presence out there. That just leaves you with a light box, probably just one linebacker in there. And then whenever you play like a one-high defense, you bring a safety down. That helps because now you've got a safety coming down into that like number 2 receiver spot. You got a guy like a will linebacker nickel. He's now getting back into the box. So you're more loaded in the box. You've got a safety coming down that can help support you in any sort of alley fits or anything like that. So that's what they should have done to try to stop this run, but they kept playing too high. They just let them get 10 yards a clip after 10 yards a clip, and they just didn't make the adjustments I was expecting them to make, at least in the second half. And if you want to win this road game, you got to stop the run, and if you can't to begin the game, you got to make adjustments and just get better as the game's going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know a lot of people on Coach Riley's ass about the 4th and inches, not sneaking the ball and kind of doing play action, and then the trick play in the rain. I get that. I understand it. Coach Riley addressed it. He said that they were dumb calls, but you got to throw that on the grand scheme of things. We got physically dominated, give up 300 yards rushing. We turned the ball over 3 times. So you can say all you want about those play calls, but we did not play good enough
in the second half, because you guys were rolling on offense. Then in the second half, you had a few turnovers, and then their offense just kept clicking. You guys just couldn't really handle it on the ground, and then it just sort of got out of hand.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to get a little passionate about this next one. Steele, do you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the little video I sent you?
I'm talking about the video you sent me. So I'm sitting here.
You want me to pull it up?
No, don't pull it up. Don't pull it up.
I'm going to pull it up.
You know what? Pull it up while I'm talking the story. I'm sitting here. I was actually at lunch at Tom's Watch Bar, watching the NFL games with my girlfriend. And Steele, I'm in a great mood, very happy. And I'm not always in a great mood. I'm not always very happy. And then Steele sends me this video, and it completely blows my vibe. All right, get off the screen. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. Now,
that's your culture over there.
I don't know the kid that posted it. I think he's a freshman, could be a transfer. I don't know, but he's young. This is a big mistake. But with that being said, if I'm Coach Riley, he posts that TikTok of him dancing on game day for a rivalry I can't say it, against Notre Dame. If I'm Coach Riley, I'm suspending this kid, or like this kid is fucking like working out extra after every practice. But if, I would cut him. 100%, I would cut the kid. I would cut the kid. You cannot be making TikTok dances of a game of that magnitude on game day. And as a Trojan alum, I am pissed off to see that. And then I got to watch Notre Dame making the same dance after the game. I mean, it can't fly. I'm sure the kid's a great kid. He's young. He made a mistake, but it ain't flying on my damn football team. And Steele, you know damn well if we did that shit at Ohio State with Coach Mick and them, you'd probably get cut. Steele, I mean, what do you got to say? Because I'm pretty pissed off about this, obviously.
I mean, it's hard to say because our guy, we just weren't doing that at Ohio State. So I mean,
listen, we weren't doing that at SC too. This is the shit that's pissing me off. Because now I got people sending me this saying this is SC, this is SC, this is why y'all give up 300 yards rushing, and it's just bogus. I mean, making TikToks on a game like that is just ridiculous. I mean, like, just ridiculous. Grow up. I'm sick of this young generation.
Cutting the kid is wild. In this scenario, it's your team. You can do whatever you want, but yeah. You got to focus up on these kind of games like this. This is you guys, Michigan.
Exactly. Imagine if we're getting ready to play Michigan at Ohio State and you and I make a TikTok dance. You don't think Coach Mick is going to let us have it, Coach? I'm telling you, if that's Ohio State, while we were there, I think you're getting suspended or thrown off the team.
Honestly, yeah, that's a big punishment. But honestly, I see where you're coming from. I could see Coach Mick doing that, especially.
All right, that's all we need to speak about it because, I feel fine ripping the kid because I don't know him. But moving on, Ohio State to our other alumni, your alumni.
Well, don't need to talk about it much. They're just rolling continuously. Julian's saying, I mean, dude, he's playing lights out. The defense, they do what they do. I mean, 0 points, but it's against a Wisconsin. Yeah, it's against a Wisconsin team that has no offense to begin with. So I don't know. Like, it's so hard to really it's so hard to see like where this team is going to be because one thing I'm afraid of is down the line, they just haven't gotten any scars yet that a lot of these teams are getting early on. And I feel like that's a big factor in a lot of these past national championship teams. They suffer something early on, whether it's a close game or even a loss. And then that just helps them on these later runs in December and January. And I mean, this team, they're so good that they just haven't really hit that adversity, at least since week 1. So I'm curious how they're going to handle it whenever it gets to the end of November, getting into the playoffs, because they're going to get in the playoffs. I just want to see them just play the kind of ball they've been playing this entire year and then find new ways to elevate yourselves. Like in the run game, their run game could be so much better. Their running backs, they're serviceable, but they're not what they were last year. Julian saying you see him progressing, the defense progressing, but I don't know. Like I'm being really nitpicky because this team right now just hasn't faced anything yet. But the Buckeyes, they're rolling 34-0. I mean, come on. I'm not.
I'm with you. It is. We said it about Michigan when they played Wisconsin. Wisconsin's just in shambles, so it is tough to judge. But with that being said, I mean, what do you do if you're trying to stop this passing attack? Because if you double Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate is just lighting people up nowadays. So do you double Carnell Tate? I mean, this is a real big problem for these defensive coordinators. And then saying he's starting to get in those Heisman talks, and definitely rightfully so. He is just running that offense to perfection, and I just love his composure. He seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't.
Did you meet him?
No. He got there whenever I left.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like. Initially, I'm thinking, okay, just play too high shell, make them just have these 12, 13-yard plays, like play drives, make them work their way down the field. But that's what they're doing. Like he's going through his reads, he's hitting check downs. He doesn't force any bad throws, and they're having these long sustained drives, and it's like, okay, then maybe like let's press him a little bit, not make him be able to hit that 5-yard stop route. But now you've got Jeremiah and Carnell just fucking burning people down the seam for a touchdown. It's hard to stop.
I mean, they're just operating at an ultimate clip here. Okay, moving on. Those alumni, one of them lowered my blood pressure. The other one has me still ramped up. Okay, so looking on to the Friday night game. This was a massive upset. Got a shout out. We're talking about Louisville, Miami. I'm going to let you start this one off, but I do got to shout out the Louisville quarterback, one of my good friends. Played with him at SC, Miller Moss, and just big congratulations to him because I know he's been wanting a big-time win, and he finally gets it. Steele, what did you think when watching this one?
I think, first off, I think this game was big and kind of what I saw as a big thing this entire weekend, and that was just momentum swings. I think you saw that throughout a lot of games this week, and it was especially real in this one. To start off, Carson Beck, he threw 4 picks this game, but that wasn't really the biggest issue for me. I don't think he's going to have a game like that again this year. What I thought was really interesting was the fact that Miami, who predicates themselves on toughness, on having just solid offensive and defensive fronts, they really got bullied this game. And that was just really surprising to me. They couldn't establish the run at all. They couldn't stop the run at all. I mean, Louisville, they threw everything they had at them. They had these weird 3-quarterback little packages and stuff. They ran the fake field goal. The first drive, like we're thinking,
okay, how about that opening script, man? That opening script, who does that?
I don't know, dude. That was diabolical. But yeah, after that, we're thinking, okay, they did everything they could. How are they going to sustain this? And then they came back. They ran the ball a lot, and then they found this dude, Chris Bell, wide receiver. He looked like a linebacker out there, just a yak king. He was killing them. So Louisville, like they came out really strong, but they just kept that momentum going and going. In Miami, like they made their plays. Malachi Toney ultimately had a good night, but between the turnovers and just not being able to control the game on the ground, they weren't able to find out a way to win this game.
Yeah, I got 2 things for you real quick. So I played against Louisville in the Holiday Bowl. We beat them, but they were a top 15 team at the time. And the one thing I was kind of surprised about, and this is just solely the fact I didn't know much about Louisville going into this one, is they have really tough kids, and they have kids who don't fear anybody. That's they don't fear. So we kind of should have expected this game to be close. We should have brought it up. But Friday night kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit. But coming into this one, we should have known that they weren't going to fear him. They weren't going to back down because that's the kind of culture Brown runs over there. And then Miller Moss, he's a great leader, great quarterback. And so that was a big-time thing. Now, I do want to ask you with this before we move on. Carson Beck to 4 turnovers can't happen, and they were 4 pretty ugly turnovers. And this was really disappointing for me because I've been so high on him all year. I know you have too. He's been playing great football. So to see a major step back like this hurts. But the thing that I've been giving him a lot of credit for is his leadership. It kind of seems like he's evolved as a person. But then I hear after the game, did you see his statements after the game, Steele?
I never watched any videos, but you're going to have to remind me a little bit.
Okay, so basically they ask him, you're in field goal range. You got a chance to get points. What happens on that last turnover? And he blames it on his tight end. Says the tight end ran it wrong. Totally threw his tight end under the bus. And as a quarterback, and I know you wouldn't do it, Steele, I would like to say that I would not do that. I know that friends Kate Stover, Tommy Eichenberg wouldn't do that. So I was disappointed with how he played, and I was disappointed with that answer in him. So hopefully no friction comes from that. But any quick thoughts with that, Steele?
Maybe because, we've seen him evolve as a football player, but mostly as a person whenever he made this transfer over to Miami. But I hope maybe that was just a small slip up, just kind of reverting back to like his Georgia self maybe. But it's not a good thing to hear, especially from your quarterback of all people. your quarterback, your middle linebacker. Those are two guys. No matter what happens on the field, you take whatever responsibility on yourself, and you never throw your buddy under the bus like that. But I like to think that this is just a one-time thing. He won't do it again, and hopefully this Miami team. I mean, Cristobal, I think he's going to address it a little bit, especially with him probably in person.
Yeah.
I think Miami, they're going to get things back on track because they're a solid team, even after that.
Sometimes those losses can be blessings, man. Sometimes
we talked about it before. Like, you saw Alabama early on in the year. Terrible loss. And now they're steering the shit. Now they're in the top 3, probably the hottest team in football right now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna get back to that terrible loss because it's gotten even worse. But I think I'm good on Miami. You good on Miami, Louisville?
Yeah. Did you see Jeff Brom's clip?
No.
XFL guy.
No. You got to tell me about that.
I don't remember too much, but I don't know. It was just a funny clip. That guy, he's a giant slayer. He's huge.
He seems like an intense guy too. He does it right. You got to give. I think we played against him, Steele. I think he was at Purdue I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was the head coach at Purdue when we played them. Let me look this up.
Look it up.
What year did we play? 2022 Purdue head football coach. I think
maybe he was. I mean, dude, he's a good coach.
Yeah. Jeff Brom, 2022 head coach at Purdue. They ran a bunch of crazy shit at Purdue.
They did. I remember that game. But yeah, dude, I think they said he was like 4-4 or something in top 5, like games against top 5 teams. So whatever he's doing over there with Louisville, like the ACC is wide open. They just whittled themselves down this weekend. So you got Louisville, Georgia Tech still rolling, Virginia, Mitchell Melton over there. They can get shit started, and then Miami's still in it. Like the ACC and the Big 12 that we'll hit on later. It's just, who knows who's going to get in.
Exactly. All right, moving on. This was the primetime game. I guess you could say that college game day was there, and it lived up to the hype. I'll start this one off. Georgia, Ole Miss. I talked about here's what the game came down to. Ole Miss looked great. Shameless for most of the game looked good. Got a little sporadic there at the end, in my opinion. But what it came down to is that Georgia, championship culture, championship DNA, and then Georgia able to establish a run game and kind of I view those as body shots and wear them down. So those are my initial thoughts with why Georgia won this. Steele, what did you see with this one?
Yeah, so I mean, just to look at the first half drives for Ole Miss, they went 13 plays, 10 plays, and 11 plays, and they all ended in touchdowns. So this team, like Lane Kiffin, I don't know if you saw it during the game, but he was helping his quarterback so well. He was helping him with checks and stuff, doing that little whistle, screaming at him like, hey,
on the sideline.
Hey, they're in cover 0, soft coverage. Just do a quick 5-yard stop route. Like, Lane Kiffin did a fantastic job getting him ready for this game because this is his first big SEC road game. But it was like he was playing catch out in the backyard. But again, this Georgia team, their defense struggled early on, but then Stockton, Frazier, and all the running backs, Lawson Lucky and the tight ends, like they really pulled together in that second half. They controlled the time of possession, which is huge in winning these games. And then they just kept capitalizing on these just long ending drives, running the ball, passing it. Stockton was perfect, I believe, 12 of 12.
Yes, 12 for 12, 135, 12 for 12.
And ultimately, they kept Ole Miss off the field. Like in the Water Boy, if you've seen the Water Boy, whole play of that last game, keep Bobby Boucher and that defense off the field. That's what they did against this Ole Miss offense. And then after that, they couldn't get that rhythm back that they had going on throughout half the game. But again, that's just championship defense, championship mentality from Kirby Smart. Yeah. And then the defense, whenever they had to make plays, especially at the end of the game, they made plays. I see that as competitive excellence, even though you've been struggling all game, making those plays at the end. And it's just, this is a championship team.
They've been in three wars now this year.
Exactly. That's what I was talking about with Ohio State. Like, this is a team that has those scars. And ultimately, whenever you get down into those long playoff stretches, like those are the things you need whenever shit gets hard.
You're going to rely on them for sure. Yeah. You need that. You definitely need that adversity. You definitely need that adversity. But Lane Kiffin, man, I tell you what, that was fun watching him run up and down the sideline. He had that quarterback. He showed his kind of genius there. But after the game, another one. You know, I always like watching the press conferences.
Mhm.
He gets up there, and I could be misquoting this one, so I'm just going to kind of whatever. But he basically alluded that his defensive coordinator didn't do a great job. But he kind of, you know, Kiffin could be a little he slides things in very
Mhm.
you know, casually, and he kind of slipped in there that when they score on every drive. So kind of thoughts on Ole Miss defense.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to say it was Ole Miss's defense's fault. I think it was more Georgia just playing really well. And you saw Georgia was a team all year. Their offense, they were a little stagnant at times. They just run nothing but screens, zones, and stuff. But they really opened up the playbook, and they've been setting this up, I feel like, all year. Instead of running these screens, they were running fake screens and then running switch verticals on the outside. They were faking tosses, running pop passes to the tight ends. They really opened up the playbook for this game, and I just don't feel like Ole Miss was prepared for that. And ultimately, that does come down to the DC. That's his job to be prepared for these games. Right. And they've showed those tendencies all the time. Whenever we played them in the Peach Bowl 2022, that was something that Coach Knowles was huge on because they had Brock Bowers at the time. They had Darnell Washington, just these really talented tight ends, and they were using them in all sorts of ways.
Man,
and Ole Miss, they just were not prepared for this game, I feel like, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then that's you bring up a good point because when I was playing safety, something that I kind of had a couple slip-ups and scars from that will always scar me is you get a team, they start establishing that run. The next thing you know, you're man-to-man on the tight end. You get a heavy play action. You know, as a linebacker as well, you take your eyes off your man. You're like, oh, shit, it's play action pass, tight end's behind you. So they do a great job with that. And Georgia, I mean, they're going to be right there at the end. I'm not worried about them. And Ole Miss, I love Lane Kiffin. I'm gonna bring him back up in a little bit. Steele, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Next game, moving on to. We called this one, brother. We called this one. LSU against Vandy. Vandy takes them down 31-24. Did you start off last game or did I?
No, you started off, I think.
Okay, you got it. Take it away.
Okay, what I got from this game. First of all, this is probably the biggest football game they've had in Nashville in a long time.
Yeah.
But what I got from this is, as a linebacker, preparing for this kind of game against Vanderbilt would be next to impossible. Because, if you're preparing for a game, you're going in early in the week, you're getting an idea of what kind of runs they have. Maybe they do a lot of outside zones, and then they sprinkle in some power, some gap scheme. Or maybe they run split zone, and then they sprinkle in some powers. But this Vandy team, they hit you with powers, counters, jet sweeps, outside zone, inside zone, quarterback QT draw.
Everything.
They hit you with everything. And as a linebacker, it's so hard to diagnose these things whenever you don't have an idea of one or two plays that they're going to run. They run everything at you.
And then you start thinking about it, and it slows you down. Your reads are all jacked up. I mean, that game plan, that's what I said. That's my initial thought. The game plan was just unbelievable from Vanderbilt.
It was fantastic. I mean, and then Pavia, they were getting him outside the pocket. I think the way that they handled Perkins on the other side was really well because he wasn't dialed into what was happening. He was just he didn't know where the ball was going. Pavia was getting around him at times. And that's just a whole nother dimension that makes it so hard with Pavia's legs. And then the fact that, dude, can you admit that he's a dog now?
No, you know me, Steele. I'm an honest man. I give credit where credit's due. I've been hating on him all year long. But man, oh man, he earned my respect. So what was that 4th and 1 where he's running around or whatever it was, 3rd and 1, and he gets it out to the flat. I mean, this dude was locked in. And I got to bring this up, Steele, because you know I'm a big faith guy. I got to bring this up. I love what he said after the game because we can relate to this. He said, the past couple of weeks, it's been a lot. I've been getting kind of lost, and I've steered away from God. I've steered away from the path. He humbled me. I'm back on the path. I'm back locked in. I see the vision. And I tell you what, that's a pretty powerful thing to say because if he keeps that mindset, I can't get mad at him for hitting a Heisman post because he might just go win that thing. So
he put himself in conversation this week.
Yeah, he was making plays. So now, LSU, I want to ask you about this. Nussmeier not having a year he's having, but, I mean, Vanderbilt was physically running through those LSU offensive linemen. I thought Nussmeier, with the time he had, actually played pretty well. what when you look at this LSU offense, what stands out to you? Because is it Nussmeier? Is it the offense line? Is it the play calling? What is it?
I think a big part of it is the offensive line and not only protecting Nussmeier, but then they can never establish the run. I mean, Durham got going a little bit, but they hit on a little bit during the game. But they usually just use screens and stuff as kind of like an extension of the run. But if you can't just protect in the inside of that interior O line, whether that's in the run game or the pass game, then your offense you're not going to succeed. And Nussmeier, it looked like he was banged up. I think he has like an oblique or something. It looked like it was flaring up, but he didn't have any time back there. He was off on a lot of his deep throws, which he's been off all year. But especially with all that pressure coming in your face, it just makes it so much harder. And he never gets into a rhythm. He makes some quality throws, but overall, he just needs a little more help because he's obviously struggling this year. But he needs his O-line to just throw him a bone every once in a while, just give him a little bit more time to diagnose what's going on back there and then just rip the ball like we know he can do.
No, 100%. And then we're also going to bring up Coach Kelly here at the end. So are you ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These next ones we're going to hit kind of quickly. First one we're going to look at is Bama, Tennessee. For me, it came down to the middle 8 and really the middle 20 seconds. Tennessee going on a drive. I mentioned how good old Joey Aguilar has been turning the ball over in SEC conference play. Gets down there, great drive, get down to the 1 yard line, have a chance to have huge momentum. You're in enemy territory, and then guy makes a great play, pick six, and kind of takes the air right out of Tennessee. And that was the moment of the game for me. And the last thing I'll say about Alabama is this 4-game stretch they're on. Absolute fantastic. I love kind of the dominant fashion they won in. And to me, they're trending.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got their asses handed to in that middle 8. But, first of all, that was a 14-point swing with that pick six. I definitely thought they were going to pound it in, make the game a little closer. But then in the third quarter, I thought I saw a little bit of life. They got Deshaun Bishop. He was going a little bit on the ground. They were able to score 7. But then after that, Alabama, they just sort of pulled away. And I think it's a big credit to Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator in that offense. I mean, they have so many weapons on the outside. Ryan Williams, after having 0 catches last week, comes back, has a really great game. Bernard was fantastic. But then Ty Simpson, I feel like he's really just pulling away right now in this Heisman race. Every single week, he's going out there against these solid teams, Tennessee, Georgia, and he's playing lights out. I mean, this offense, they give you so many looks. They motion left and right. They just do a bunch of stuff. And then they've got the guys on the outside to back it up, an O-line that's playing really well. I mean, Alabama is the hottest team right now for me in college football. I know Ohio State, Indiana, they've been dominating, but Bama's just been playing really quality opponents and still playing at such a high level that it's hard to play that way week in, week out.
Yeah, no, I'm buying as much Alabama stock as I can, and it's because of Ty Simpson. I mean, that dude, I think he's exactly, who they needed. I don't want to say savior because that's getting a little weird, but like he is who they needed at that position to kind of get them back on track. I think if it was anybody else, I don't know if they get back on track, especially at that quarterback position. But Ty Simpson, I love his leadership. I love what he's got going on. And that receiving core they're developing, and they got some dogs on the receiver core.
And then quick thing with receiving core, something that I wasn't really expecting, Tennessee, their offense, they talked about a little bit during the game, but they have no depth at wide receiver because they run this high-tempo offense, and they had Staley and Brazo on the outside. And, they're just running vertical go routes over and over again and then coming back, having to run these routes over and over. Yeah. And, they just got gassed. And then you didn't see that vertical attack later in the game that you've been seeing all year. And I think for Tennessee, you got to come out. You got to start developing some of these younger guys and getting that receiving core a little bit stronger in the back end of it.
I think Hubbard, might have heard what you said. He did a little extra speed training. Put on for the white safeties, man.
No, I did. I ate my words right there. I fucked up with that analysis. That was terrible.
That's what happens when you come at my white safety brothers. But we'll that's it. We'll move on. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. BYU, Utah, real quick.
Holy War.
one of my favorite games of the year. And did you get a chance to watch Dave Portnoy, Big Fox? I mean, that atmosphere looked absolutely.
I'm a game day man. I never watched it.
I like bouncing back and forth, but still, man, when you get a chance, you should definitely go on YouTube and just kind of watch.
I know they're electric. I see the clips. You send me the clips.
They're barking on, like Portnoy's talking on the stage. You got the BYU fans with the face paint barking, Utah fans I mean, it was pretty wild. But when I look at this game, I don't know why he wears 47. Maybe you know why he wears 47. Bear Bachmeier, we always have trouble saying his name, but he's a tough dude. That guy's a tough dude. And in Utah, man, the offense was kind of flat again, and that's why BYU ultimately walks out of here with a win.
Well, I mean, as far as 47, I know Devin Brown, Ohio State guy, he's over at Cal now. He wore 33.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so it's not crazy to see the quarterback wearing that number for me. But for Bear Bachmeier in this offense, at the beginning of the game, they weren't really playing their style of game. They're big in the run. I think it's like 60-40 run to pass. Early on, they wanted to throw the ball a little bit, but then once the game sort of moved on a little bit, they really got the ground game going between the running backs and him. He's as poised as you get at quarterback. They just slowly chipped away at this Utah defense. And then Utah on offense, I want to shout out Ryan Davis. He's their number one receiver by a long shot. One of my best friends from high school. We're going to try to have him on in a couple of weeks. We're going to a bachelor party over in North Georgia, so that's going to be fun as shit.
Oh, I know you're ready for that bachelor party, man. Nobody likes a bachelor party more than you.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is like my first one.
Yeah, but I know even if it's your first one, everybody who knows us knows that you are going to love a bachelor party, and you cannot deny that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to have so much
exactly. Fun. You're going to be the show. You're going to steal the show. You're going to steal.
Oh, a little play on words. Okay, Shakespeare. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Like
either way, yeah. Him and Dampier, they have a really good relationship. They came from New Mexico State together. But Dampier, I'm just not sold on this guy. He looks so uncomfortable in the pocket. It seems like he just never has his footing. He's never really thrown a ball just like with confidence. And then I don't know, the running game just sort of stalled out after a while. BYU, they just out-toughed them. That's a big thing in this game, in this rivalry, just toughness. And they out-toughed them up front. They beat them up, and then over the course of the game, just added up, and then BYU just sort of ran away with this one. Utah, they were probably in my playoff picture, especially if they won this game. But now it's just maybe they bounce back. But BYU just looks fantastic.
Yeah, BYU looks good, but Whittingham, head coach of Utah, has got to just be sick. It's been quarterback problems the last couple of years. He comes into this season saying this is the best offensive line that he's had, which we played against Utah teams. I played against them 3 or 4 times, and they're big, they're physical. So I know he's got to be very, very frustrated with how this is unfolding. Okay, moving on. Big 12, another Big 12 matchup. A shocker. Texas Tech goes to Arizona State. With a backup quarterback plan, I will put that in there. But he played good against Utah. Mm-hmm. And they go out there and they catch an L. I know you were locked in on this one. I saw a little bit of it. So, Steele, what you tell me about this one, brother?
Yeah, it was hard because I forgot what time this one was at. But I was straight quad box. So my mind was in a fucking pretzel for all these games.
Yeah.
But then, I look at ESPN, and then I turn this one on, I think, in the first quarter, and I don't know, Texas Tech, I don't know what it was exactly, but Will Hammond, he looked really good whenever he came in the game against Utah. But in this game, like they couldn't get that pass game going. That Arizona State back end, have to shout them out. They were sticky in the back end. They were having pass deflections left and right. And then, the ASU offense, just slowly but surely, Sam Levitt, their receiver Tyson, they just kind of chipped away at this team.
That receiver's a real deal. Jordan Tyson, guy is a real deal threat.
And especially in that last drive, dude, they were dialed in together.
Yeah.
But they slowly chipped away at him, just getting 3 points here, maybe a touchdown here. And Sam Levitt, he's a very experienced guy. He has a lot of experience in these big games. And to see him go out there, just slowly chip away at this Texas Tech defense, which is, in my opinion, probably I'd say like top 3 in the nation. I mean, have you seen the linebacking duo?
No, I know all about Texas Tech defense, man. They got good players. Romello Height, they got really good guys.
Dude. Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts.
Yeah.
They fly.
Rodriguez is a madman in there, dude.
And that's another big thing. Like this defense, like they punch at the ball. They get the ball out so much. Yeah. I think they had 4 fumbles, but they didn't recover any of them. So the ball just never rolled their way. Arizona State, they just played mistake-free football. Well, actually, besides the fumbles that they ultimately recovered. But I don't know, like the Big 12, it's so weird because we saw Texas Tech as this team. They're probably just going to go undefeated all the way up.
Yeah, we were saying, wait, Texas Tech and everybody else.
Yeah, I know. Like, and then now, like, you got them losing. They're still in the playoff picture, but I mean, them, Utah, they've kind of played themselves out of it a little bit. BYU, they're playing really well, but I don't know, dude. I have no idea what to think of the Big 12 picture. It's so hazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about these teams.
I don't know what to think either. You got to rock with the Mormons and BYU right now, though.
Oh, dude, the Mormons are rolling.
And then you actually did bring up a good point that I wanted to hit on. You talked about Hammond, how he looked good against Utah, and but we know there's a difference between going into Steele, guys down, you got to go in. You're not thinking about nothing. You're like, oh shit, and then you go out there and you play pretty well, and then the guy's out for the following week, and all of a sudden you're getting your first real start or whatever it may be. Got some time to think. Family's hitting you up, good luck. Friends are hitting you up, good luck, and maybe that pressure got to him just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe if they get Morton back, the playoff committee might see it as okay. They lost this close game against a solid Arizona State team, but they ultimately had their backup in, so. Maybe that's something that they can argue with down the line if it gets to that point and they're fighting for a spot. But again, Big 12, it's a carousel right now. I don't know what to think of it.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Okay. There's a couple – I want to move on from the games, but there is one thing I want to bring up. And then maybe you can bring up – or a couple things. First off, really quick, Missouri versus Auburn. Did you see the coin toss at overtime? Please tell me you saw that.
Yeah, I think he was cussing like a fucking dog.
Yeah, that Missouri guy, he goes out there in that overtime. I don't know if you saw this because I didn't watch the game. I saw the clip of him at midfield cussing the guy out in coin toss, saying, we're going to beat your ass, basically. Well, he goes out, Steele, in that overtime, gets a tackle for loss and a sack. So he backed it up. I love that. Missouri, we talked about it. I love this Missouri team. I think they play very physical. I love their defense. I think they're just a couple playmakers on that offensive side of the ball being really good.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Hare Stadium, I think there's some kind of curse over there at Auburn because I don't know. Like, they play really well against these teams. Like, you saw it with Georgia. You've seen it with Missouri. Like, these are quality football teams, and they're keeping it really close, but they just can't get over the hump and win these big games. And it sucks to see because they have so much talent. I mean, I think they can get a lot better at quarterback. They might have made the wrong move going out and getting him, but I don't know. I didn't watch too much of the game, but it was close. I think Missouri needed this. Go ahead.
The way this is trending, let's circle 4 big circles around that Auburn-Alabama game because some of those Alabama kids, they might see Auburn has got 4, 5, 6 losses, not been paying attention because they're so focused on their own seasons. And that Auburn team plays people tight. So if anybody takes Auburn lightly, they're going to get beat.
You know what is what? Remember Nebraska? Whenever we played them, I think they were like a 500 team, but all of their losses, it was like a combined of like 5 points.
And then they were like top 10 in defense and top 10 in offense, but somehow had like 6, 7, like 6 or 8 losses.
Maybe they're losing these games, but they're keeping it close and they're playing solid football. So like you got to watch out for this team. So maybe they could be a spoiler down the line for like an Alabama, which that'd be crazy to see, especially in the Iron Bowl. But I don't know. That was a crazy game though.
And then still, any games you want to bring up? I got one in my mind, but
was it the late night game? I'll let you hit on that.
No, we're gonna get back. We're gonna get to that in the next segment. The game I want to bring up, and unfortunately, well, Steele, I'm gonna say it was my pick of the week. You were right. You said Arizona State.
No, I wasn't confident with that pick, so I'm not going to accept it.
Okay, so then we're wrong on our pick of the week. We had Duke, and once again, we've been talking about the Heisman. A couple guys who we think need to be on this list. And Georgia Tech, Haynes King, if he's not in New York, if this team keeps winning, they go undefeated or whatever. If Haynes King isn't in New York, that's a damn shame because he just puts that team on his back every single weekend. Steele?
That dude puts his balls on the table and he plays football. I mean,
I would love that play with that guy.
I get the argument because now that Clemson has just fallen off the face of the earth, they have no really like quality wins, I think, in my opinion. I'd have to look at their schedule again to make sure. But just the level of play that he's playing at and the fact that he is, like you said, carrying this offense and this entire team on his back, he's got to get a little more credibility, like a little more, I don't know, something, a little more love.
Yeah,
because he's playing his ass off.
Okay, well, that wraps it up for the recap. Now we're going to go into
just a couple more games. Florida State, they're terrible. Then Texas A&M had a really close one against Arkansas. That's interesting.
Yeah, Texas, Arkansas, man, they're playing people close.
On the teams, and then Texas, they went into overtime against Kentucky. So, like, just college football, this world we're living in right now, every team's on upset alert.
Yeah, every team, any team can beat any team. Okay, so you bring up Florida State. We're going to jump over to Gainesville real quick. Coaching carousel is already getting crazy. Billy Napier, 22 and 23 at his time at Florida. We know that's just unacceptable. But we talked about his deal. One thing you got to give him credit is you could tell that his guys genuinely loved him. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's been in the coaching game for a while, and I don't know what this thing is with firing these coaches mid-year. They had him, Jay Norvell, I believe. Yeah, Jay Norvell over at Colorado State. It's not looking good for Mike Norvell either at Florida State. Yeah. And then James Franklin, who we could talk about a little bit later, his game day appearance I thought was huge. Oh, yeah. That's big on this character.
He sold himself as well as you could sell himself as
dude, as a man, like seeing him talk that way after a heartbreaking, like getting fired like that.
Oh yeah.
Just the amount of character he showed going up there and just talking about like how stunning it was for him, like that's huge. Like
he earned all my respect in the world, but like I said, he definitely is going to have. He talked himself into a job. Not saying and this is not me saying it wasn't genuine. It's just me saying, if I was an AD, I would want that guy running my ship after that.
I mean, no, you could tell it was genuine. Just like they were asking questions, like he almost like for a quick second just took a step back, like had to just sort through like his feelings and like be able to project something that was like true to himself. And I don't know, like I don't want to take back everything I said because he was having struggles there. But I mean, like Nick Saban said, you have to let him finish out the year. I will take that statement back. They made a few weeks.
I agree. I'm with it. Okay, and then Billy Napier kind of focused on Florida. Everybody knows that Florida, that's a good program. People are going to want to coach there. Give me 3 names you're looking at in terms of who you think Florida. And if you need a second, kind of give who I'm thinking about, who they might target.
Let me hear. I haven't really thought about it much. Yeah, let me hear you.
The name I'm hearing pretty much that everybody's saying
Gruden
is Lane Kiffin.
Oh,
Lane Kiffin is their target. Then I'm hearing Jeb Fish from Washington. I think he's a Gator alum, and we know he's been doing a really good job at Arizona and then Washington. And then I'm hearing about USF Alex Goulash.
He's a good coach.
And then I'm hearing Georgia Tech Brent Key.
Okay.
And then the last guy I'm hearing for fun is good old Mr. Gruden.
I mean, I don't know what sort of legal stuff he's got to get over to get that job, but Gruden would be good. I see Brent Key. I see that being a really good hire. He's doing fantastic with this Georgia Tech team. And then what's Haynes King is over. I don't know how they're going to look over there, but Lane Kiffin, that's interesting. But I mean, Lane Kiffin, I don't know about this one. I don't know if he would leave Ole Miss for Florida, even though Florida is a hell of a program. They've got about as much appeal as any other team in the entire country. But like between just, again, the facilities, just the job in general, just the culture and the tradition that goes with the swamp. If I had to pick one, I would either go with Gould. I think he's really good, or probably Brenke.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm with you. I like Lane Kiffin a lot, but if I'm the Gators, I would really like Brent Key, to be honest with you. I think that would make sense. I think he's a tough dude. So Brent Key is a guy I like. Okay, moving on. You bring this up. I'm on the West Coast. You're on the East Coast. I'm sitting down. I'm watching the movie. I'm thinking college football is over. I got a tube TV setup. I got a little shitbox TV sitting on the floor, and I got ESPN on or whatever's on. And all of a sudden, I glance at the TV, and I see Florida State is losing to Stanford. I lock into the game. Controversial ending. They say he's short. I thought he was in. But regardless, they lose at Stanford. I played at Stanford. For Florida State to come out to the West Coast in the ACC game, play at fucking 3 a.m. for local time, that's bullshit to me. That's just the truth. That's bullshit. You give them a day.
I will say, I'm about to pass. I was like 2:30 in this game still going on, and I thought to myself, like, these dudes are from Florida.
Yeah,
like, I can't maybe they got there on like Tuesday or Wednesday, got a little used to it, but I will say, I think it was like a 10:30 start.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
That's got to change.
That's ridiculous. I mean, the ACC. And the Big Ten did it with. And obviously, I was happy the Trojans won, but you got Michigan State coming over, playing at 11 o'clock. You just can't have that. And giving them a day, a week. These kids are in class. These kids are doing this. I don't like it. I do not like it.
But that is no excuse, though. Florida State got to win that game.
No, you can't lose to Stanford. They're horrible. No disrespect, but they're horrible.
Easy, man. I like Stanford a lot. They got Andrew Luck over there.
Wait, you almost went to Stanford, didn't you?
They were in my top 5.
You thought you were going to be the next McCaffrey. Next thing you know, you're fucking Mike linebacker in Columbus, Ohio.
I thought I was going to be in Silicon Valley hanging out with the geniuses.
Just like when you knocked me for saying I couldn't be a brain surgeon. You ain't no Stanford kid, man.
We're gonna get into that story later on. Don't worry about that.
All right, but the bottom line is Mike Norvell. What do you think? Sticking around?
Dude, you're seeing it all over college football. It's not crazy anymore to have him fired within the next 48 hours at this point. I don't know. I don't like this firing mid-season stuff.
Yeah.
I get he struggled, especially the past 2 years, but he had in 2023, 2022, they had that fantastic season, went undefeated in the regular season, came up short, lost their quarterback, and then had a really bad game in the bowl. Yeah. But I don't know. I think you let him finish it out, but ultimately I think you maybe go out. You've got tons of coaches that are just ready to coach right now. Everyone's getting fired. Go out, maybe get yourself a new coach, but I don't know. Florida State, I want this program to be back.
Yeah, I think the problem – well, here's the problem. I think because of the new transfer portal rules, it opens up, I believe, like December 1st. And if you make the playoffs, you're in the playoffs, your team is still, rolling. Your team is still coaching. Your team is still playing. So I think you got to it puts the program in a bad situation because I think they think we got to fire him now so we can go do our search, get a good coach, bring him in as soon as the season ends. That way we can go get these portal guys and, signing day and all this stuff. So I think the schedule is kind of messing up a lot of this thing. But anyway, Coach Norvell, I think his buyout's like still north of 55 M's or whatever, but we've been seeing these schools pay him. So I think they're going to give him – I think as long as if they just finish off 6-8-4 or whatever they are, he's got to win out. But next one I want to ask about for this coaching carousel is LSU head coach Brian Kelly.
I know you want him out.
I
know my granny wants him out. It seems like everyone wants him out.
My thing with Brian Kelly is we talked about. I forget who we talked about. We thought, regardless, with Brian Kelly is, I just could never see myself wanting to play for him. I just don't think he'd be genuine to me. Now, I'm not around him, so I'm speaking from the outside. I don't know if you know anyone who played for him, who speaks highly of him.
I wanted to get into that a little bit, actually.
Go ahead.
So my buddy, J.D. Bertrand, he was a captain over at Notre Dame. He was there whenever Brian Kelly left. And basically the way he left was he kind of just vanished. They came in the next day. He never addressed the team, and they just had a guy, I think probably like the new interim coach. He just came up and said, okay, Brian Kelly, he's stepping away from the program. and everyone's just kind of in shock because, I mean, he had been like such a big part of that program for so long. And he just left. Didn't say anything to his players. It was just a big shock to the team. And he was just saying people just left with a bad taste in their mouth after that. It just, I don't know. Like, a lot of guys don't have relationships with him anymore that played for him in the past. So I get what you're saying. Like, it's not a coach I want to play for.
It just looks a little weird. Something about him is a little weird. I think he's a little outdated. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is kind of tough for us to sit up here because we play college football. We didn't coach college football, but we play. We know how hard it is. We know what these coaches go through. Yeah. So at some level, you feel bad kind of ragging on them. But at the same time, I mean, it's their job, man.
Take everything with a grain of salt because, yeah, like we're criticizing them. But at the end of the day, we have no idea, like, what they're going through, whether it's in their lives or just coaching, because we're not head coaches for
exactly. Yeah, they're the man. They're the man in the arena. So you got to take all this with a grain of salt. We give them all respect for doing what they do, but when you look at it from a pure business standpoint, I just don't know about it. Okay, that wraps up the coaching carousel segment. Steele, great. I really enjoyed this one. You got anything else for us,
dude? I've got nothing else. I know we might be having a guest on Thursday. So we got that, talking about more games, and then we're going to do our new playoff predictions.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. If we get – okay, Thursday we're looking for maybe a guest.
Maybe.
And if we don't do the guest, we do the recap. But next Monday, we might have another guest. And if we don't have that guest, we are doing our second edition of our playoff brackets.
Are we not? So we're not doing that Thursday?
Oh, we can do that Thursday. You want to do that Thursday?
I won't lie. This slate of games isn't looking all that hot right now.
All right, so. Thursday, we'll do a guest, hopefully. But regardless, we're coming out with the second edition of the Shaw and Steele Show playoff brackets.
Got to get this thing right. My last – I think I had Utah, Florida State. I think some other shitty – LSU. Like, it's bad.
Real quick, have you watched Chad Powers?
It's a fantastic show.
Oh my God! I watched all 4 episodes last night. Unbelievable. I wish we were still at the bar house watching that.
Glenn Powell, dude, he's an absolute firecracker.
Oh my God, dude, that show is. I wish I could watch 40 seasons of that right now.
I wish. Fuck, it's Monday. It doesn't come out till
Tuesday.
Fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be calling you after that episode tomorrow. All right, brother.
All right.
Appreciate you.
See ya.